Oh, yes. If you're just tuning in, it's another awesome day here in the nation's capital. It's the C. Allen Morning Show. It's the C. Allen Morning Show with yours truly, C. Allen here. I'm all alone. Trendy Lindy is out today, but I tell you, today we have a hot topic. I need you all to turn the radios up. Today we have to discuss the GED situation. I kind of talked about that. I talked about that last week. I kind of hint that we were going to be having a discussion about the GED. My question today, I really need you to talk to me. First of all, we got to talk about how do we educate our kids? Whose job is it to train our children? I'm telling you, I want to call today's topic a state of emergency. I'm not going to go as far as saying that, but it really is an emergency going on here in our country because we have so many. The children of today is just simply off the hook. What I mean by off the hook, I'm talking about, many of you know that we, the Bennett Career Institute in Sea Island, we went to the jail to do Pamper Day for the officers and listen to the officers talking about today's juvenile that's coming into the prison system and how they just have that I don't care kind of attitude. Or we're talking about the little kids now in the daycare and in the elementary schools and the problems that we're facing today. My question to you all is, whose job is it to train the children? I interviewed last night my niece, who is a second grade school teacher. She's a second grade school teacher, and she talked about what happens when the parents are not there to support the children. You can see a clear difference with the parents who are there to support the children and the parents who are not there to support the children. My question, I have my sister Rhonda Banks is on the line. She's going to kind of help me out a little bit this morning until you guys call me. Let me give you the 1-800 number. It's 1-800-450-7876. What we're talking about today is I want to talk about the GED because the GED is about to change and many of you have no clue. So I want to talk about the GED, but I also want to talk about what is going on with our children today. I believe we need to cut that Xbox off. I believe we need to turn the TVs off. Stop putting the children in front of the television set because you don't want to spend time with them. What happened to, where is the mentors? Where is the people helping them with their homework? What in the world are we going to do? Listen, before I get Rhonda in, let me just explain to you that the GED testing soon will have the people that's going to try to earn the GED will soon have the toughest time trying to get the GED. One, because it is going to be computerized now. So if you're in an economically stressed area where you can't even get to a computer, it's going to be a problem because you need to be at a computer in order for you to take the examination. The second thing is that the price is going to increase. Now, one of the things that we talked about now, some of this I'm getting from the Daily Herald. So if you want to follow me, and I'll put it up on my Twitter, and that's the C. Allen Morning or at C. Allen Morning. And what we have to understand is, let's use for an example in Illinois, more than 27,000 Illinois residents took the GED exam in 2011. Nearly 16,000 of them passed all 5 courses. Now, that was better than the rate in 2012, where only half of 1,500 residents passed the examination. Now, the education experts say that local and statewide numbers will surely drop come 2014 when the new computerized version of the exam comes online. Now, what happened, for those who don't know, the federal level, the American Council on Education, they signed a deal with Pearson, which is a testing company, to provide the new test. Now, the test in Illinois now, it will go from $50 to $120, and then in order to retake Any failed course, it will also be double the amount. But wait a minute, get this, everybody. Test takers will also need a credit card and an email address in order to register for the first time. Now, I want to know who has a credit card, because you have to have good credit, in order to get a credit card, in order to be able to take the test. And what's happening is that the number of people taking the test is going to drop. We already know that. And it's going to be difficult because it's going to deal with the least. It's going to be the people with the least resources who are going to be left out. That's a problem, because we want people to be in the workforce. And how can we do that if we're not? And listen to this, everybody. Let me go a little further. Rhonda, I'm going to get you in a second. It's not just about the money, okay? Number one, you need to have good credit, of course, in order to have a credit card, okay? So many people won't be able to register to take the exam, okay? Now, what about the people, let's say the people that's in the jails? They said 8 or 9 inmates every month is tested in certain states for the GED, but if there's no computer lab at the jail, there's no computer. So here comes 2014, everything is computerized. If you don't have a computer, you won't be able to do the exam. You know, I think that it's unfortunate that, and we're not even going to get into the exam, adding the calculus and trigonometry and all that kind of stuff to the GED. What I want to know today is, what in the world are we going to do? All of you who have the dropout grandchildren, all of you who know that these kids are not going to school. My question is, when are we going to rise and understand that after a while, our generation or the youth generation is going to be completely wiped out? Sister Rhonda, talk to me this morning, because you know I'm kind of hot today.
Good morning, Mr. Bennett. Yes, I just want to help you out a little bit there. You know that research has proven that by 4th grade, it has already been determined by 4th grade how many prisons that they will build based on the kids' score in 4th grade. And when you were speaking about the kids and the Xbox and all of that, we must remember that the key indicators are, first, is parent involvement and teacher involvement. Without the parental involvement, you will not have the success rate that you're seeing in other countries. I really hate to say it, but African Americans, we are lagging way behind in education.
Okay, Rhonda, hold that. Let's go to Deborah. Deborah, talk to us today. This is C. Allen, and this is Rhonda on the line. Talk to us today.
Both of you.
Hello.
I'm a parent.
Yes.
I've been everywhere from Head Start to high school.
Okay.
God gave us these children to raise and teach. It is our job. It's not the school's. Parenting and educating that child starts at home.
Okay, so now, Deborah, I hear what you're saying, but what are you going to tell the mother who is 22 who can't help her child do homework because she's illiterate?
She needs to get with her mother, grandmother, somebody. She should never have even gotten to that stage of being illiterate. Nobody took the time with her when she was a child to sit down and teach her how to read and write. That's why she's illiterate today.
Yes. Because what we're seeing, Deborah, what we're seeing is that a lot of times these young parents, they're leaving the entire job to the school system in order for them, because they say that they believe that it is the teacher's responsibility to teach our children. It's the teacher's responsibility.
Where is the parenting responsibility? Come on.
Exactly.
Those babies belong to those mothers and fathers, not a teacher. Those are gifts from God to them.
Okay.
They're just neglecting everything.
Okay, very good. All right, so, all right, thank you so much, Deborah, and I want you to keep listening here to the C. Allen Morning Show, all right?
All right, I will.
Now, listen, everyone. Now, Sister Rhonda, what's happening is we're going to have to take a commercial break, but one of the things that we have to talk about is we have to talk about when are we going to rise to the occasion What I mean by that is it is common sense. In order for our children to go to college, we have to properly prepare them. We have to make them competitive in today's society in order to take them to the next level. We're going to talk about that. How do we prepare our children for college? This is the C. Allen Morning Show. It is about beauty, fashion, education, and lifestyle. Today we're talking about what in the world are we going to do with our children's education. This is C. Allen. We'll be right back after these messages.
News update.
All right, everyone, we're back here live. It's the C. Allen Morning Show today. Our life skills section. We have Sister Rhonda Banks also on the line, my older sister. We're talking about what are we going to do about our children. The children, these teenagers, they're off the hook. I'm looking at everything from all of the crime that's going on, but most importantly, we're talking about the education. All of the people that are dropping out, they have no clue to what's going on with the new GED that's going to take place 2014. It's a whole new version of the GED. So this means that anyone studying for the GED now or who needs to retake and pass one of the 5 courses of the exam, you must do it before the end of 2013. We're talking about the new GED testing service that has changed the testing around, all computerized. And the test is completely different. And I'm telling you, where do we begin? How do we keep our children in school? Let's go to Big Mike is on the line, Rhonda. Let's talk to Big Mike. Big Mike, talk to us today. What in the world is going on with our teenagers? How are we going to make a difference?
You know what? It's funny that you brought this subject up because this is something that's dear to my heart. I'm 50 years old. I have 3 kids that are either in college or graduated from college. So for myself and my wife, we stayed behind them. But you know what? When I go back about 40 or 50 years, we had African-American schools in this country of distinction. And they remain African-American schools of distinction. But what happened was when we desegregated the school systems, and what they did is they fled to the private school system, and they left the public school system with a half a hand. So the bottom line is what I think the solution is, we need to get back to teaching our babies. You know, I use Christopher Columbus, for example. We're taught in school systems that Christopher Columbus discovered America, and he was such a great man. But our history and the history of the school system teaches the total opposite of what the truth is. Mm-hmm. Christopher Columbus didn't discover America. You can't discover something that's already here. You understand what my point is?
Gotcha.
So the miseducation of our young people, that's why a lot of them are dropping out of school, because they're not learning anything. They're not learning true history. So if you got a parent like me that's conscious, and I'm teaching my children some African American history, and then they go to school and get taught another old history. I got a son in college right now, and he said, "Dad, the stuff that you taught me, they're trying to reteach me the opposite." So we don't have our community need our black schools back. We need smaller classrooms for our youngsters, and we need jobs for these teenagers. My man, if we don't get some job programs for these young people, we done.
Okay.
They said they give us 20 years or 30 years, we done. We got to get out of our church doors. We got to go out in the community and find the problems and deal with them head on. We got to be defensive.
Gotcha. All right, Big Mike. I appreciate that you keep listening to the C. Allen Morning Show. So, Rhonda, let me ask you this, since you are First Lady at Trinity Baptist Church. When he said, let's get out of the church doors and be able to do something, what is your take on that?
Well, I believe that churches always have been in the community, and they continue to assist in the community. However, you have what we see now are many of the parents, you know, they're not coming to church, but however, they may send their children to church, but that's not happening often either. So the church isn't really seeing the need as much as they really should see the need. And I agree that, you know, we do need to get more out in the community and to find out how can we better assist our neighboring children within the community, but it's a total different environment these days. I mean, you have the parents, and you go to their house, and you send out flyers, and you tell what's going on and how we're willing to help the kids, and they shy away. So I believe that, once again, it takes a village, yes, to raise a child, and it takes all of us. But in order for our kids to really succeed in America, it starts at home. And the teachers need to be held to their rate of accountability of actually teaching these kids. When the teachers figure that these kids do not want to learn, then they will not invest in these children.
Exactly.
And once the teachers find out that someone wants to learn, they may, a possibility, invest in the children. I think we really have to look at the whole rim. You know, you have to look at the nutrition. You have to look at the parental skills. You have to look at their environment. There's a lot of key factors that's involving these kids to learn.
But one of the things that I see, Rhonda, is I see the fact of, I look at in my salons how I have single parents. And my question is, if they're working on clients until 9 and 10 o'clock every single day, who's raising the 8-year-old? Who's raising the 5-year-old? And and the problem that I'm having is the parent. I believe that they a lot of parents feel like their job is to keep a roof over their head, keep food in the child's mouth. And who is going to actually take time and sit down with the child to make sure that they're comprehending, that they're understanding? I think I notice how, at Bennett Career Institute, we also have the child care Bennett Babies. And I see students who will drop their children off, get back in their car, and go home when they belong upstairs in the classroom. I've seen parents who the cutoff time is 9:30. They will come at 9:45, and want to argue with us for not taking the child, but the daycare open at 7 in the morning. I think part of the problem is who's going to make the parent, who's going to hold the parent accountable. Okay. And I think that's probably 1-800-450-7876, 1-800-450-7876. I want to know, well, who's going to hold the parent accountable? Because, when you look at stuff like I was listening to Seed Public Charter School and how they running a commercial and how they take you in the 6th grade. And I have graduates who sent their children to Seed Public Charter School, and they have a 92% rate where all of them go off to college. And my graduate who sent her children there, her son is now at a historic black college where he's doing extremely well because he went to Seed, where they go to school all throughout the week and then they come home on the weekend. Now the question is, if the parent does not have the time, why not take them to a place where there are constant counselors? And no, Seed didn't pay me to say this. I'm just saying that to me that seemed like the perfect solution for the parent that may need to work on their GED, or the parent that can't really help their children because they don't know. What about, when are we going to hold the parents accountable? I read somewhere where they wanted to do a law that if the child is truant, the child doesn't go to school, then we'll lock the parent up. I agree with that.
Well, another problem of...
Lock them up!
Well, another part of the big problem also...
But then, wait a minute, if they lock them up, wait a minute, Rhonda, if they lock them up, then who's going to take care of them then for real if they lock the parent up? Something has to be done.
Well, let me say this. The resource, most of the time, the parents are not aware of the resources that are out there that are federally funded. Most of those schools, they're getting resources. The parents have to pass, the kids have to pass a lottery. And also remember this, Mr. Bennett, that the D.C. and Maryland and Virginia, the neighboring areas, they are strategically planning for our African Americans, males, most of the time, to be placed not to get a GED, not to go to college, but to work in these prison systems where they must work for 5 cents or whatever, and they can build on that capital. So we have to find out what are the tricks of the trade that our cities are doing, it's what they're doing to see that we're not fully invested in our children.
Okay.
We as parents should be held accountable for our children and their education, because the city and the surrounding neighbors, they are strategically planning how to keep the system alive and keeping our children there if we do not become properly educated.
Gotcha.
What kind of job can you get without
All
being
right.
educated?
Hold on. Come on, Mr. Peters. Talk to us today.
Hey, Mr. Allen, how you doing?
I'm good, sir.
You know, we use this word parents very loosely, Mr. Allen, because, you know, them kids that graduated last June, at graduation, they wake up the next morning, all of a sudden they adults expecting to understand and know their civic duties and the others. They was never taught that their previous 12 years. This problem that you're talking about is a black society's problem. The more black boys that are in prison, there's less competition for the quote-unquote day children to contend with. So until black as a society, it could be your neighborhood, your city, your region, until blacks as a society address this problem, others are not going to do it, because why would you prop up those who's going to have to, someone who's going to have to compete against your children for wealth and resources in this country? It's not going to happen. It never happened. I've been looking at this for a long time.
Okay. I definitely agree, Mr.
Good work.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, now you know what? Thank you, Mr. Peters. Now, one of the things, Sister Rhonda, we're going to have to go to break in a minute, but one of the things that Mr. Peters said that I really think that we need to look into, and that is that it's going to go back to what you're saying. We have to stop just saying it take a village. But who's going to put the initiative in effect to make it work? That means that it's supposed to be the school, along with the church, along with the family, and not just the family, but the extended family. Exactly. Any kind of social resources. We should have the medical field along with it. So it could be a situation where every field, the entertainment field, you know, a lot of these kids look up to the Nicki Minaj's and the other people, but who's preaching about education? Who's preaching about it's cool to be in school? I like that, it's cool to be in school. So who's coming up with campaigns to make people want to stay in school and make it fun and make it educational so they can really get it? Because at the end of the day, I'm telling you, the way society is going, if we do not have the education, we're going to be completely wiped out. I look at the people who have a felon and how it is extremely difficult for them to get a job. And when they get a job, the job probably is barely minimum wage. So many times it's a cycle where they're back in prison over and over and over again because they do not even have enough to support their families. Listen, everybody, we got to take a break here. This is the C. Allen Morning Show. We're talking about what in the world are we going to do with our children. Listen, we're going to be giving away some reunion show tickets when we come back, so stay tuned. We'll be right back after these messages. All right, everyone, we're back here live. C. Allen Morning Show. Sister Rhonda, I didn't mean to hold you up the whole time, but listen. Don't you believe? Let's talk about the church for a minute. Where do you feel that, what is the church obligation?
Well, the church has always been an obligation, and they were always the founding, I believe, institution of volunteering in the beginning when it all started, because we were always a close-knit community. And I believe once the parents or the people moved out of the neighboring community, it was very hard for the church to keep in contact of providing the services. And also you have to remember that once the federal government started to come in and implicate or duplicate services that the church, were delivering to the people in the community, the church backed off in certain ways, but the church, I believe, has not backed out entirely. The church is really working behind the scenes. They are tutoring kids. We are tutoring kids. We are speaking with the parents. We help with rent. We help in other areas, counseling the parents and finding jobs. So people don't see that with the natural eye, but the church is still involved in many ways. But they want to see it they want to see the response as they was responding in the old days. Not like that, but the church is still working within the community.
Okay, all right. We're going to go to Gwen. We're going to go to Gwen because we're going to see what Gwen has to say. But one of the things, Rhonda, is I just believe that when I talk about the church, I'm also talking about it is all of our pastors' responsibility to constantly bring that to the congregation, the importance of education. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Gwen, talk to me. What are we going to do today about our children?
I'm not sure. We have to pray really, really hard. However, I see the main problem is parenting. Parents naturally should love and nurture and provide a safe place for their children. But the main job for a parent is to teach the children, as a child, responsibility.
That's right.
When responsibilities are being taught, children have to be checked on to be sure they're doing their they have to be responsible to get up in the morning to go to school, to make up their beds, to pick up after themselves, to listen to the teachers, to learn what's being taught to them, and also be responsible for their homework. Leave them. They have to be made accountable.
Got you.
Parents, in my case, didn't know new math when my children were in school.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know new math. I'm old, and my children had to learn in school. When my daughter's children were growing up, computers, after her graduation from high school, then computers came into being.
Okay.
And she couldn't teach her children what they were being taught in school. And she told her children, her sons, don't leave the classroom until you understand. If there's a recess or lunch break and you're staying in the classroom and the teacher's asking you why you're there, she had to tell her, my mother said don't leave until I understand.
Okay, so Gwen, so what you're saying is that the parent may not be able to physically help you with geometry or trigonometry or calculus, but the parent can teach you responsibility to know that you hold the instructor accountable to make sure that you comprehend before you leave that room.
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
When you have a communication with the teachers, and teachers do care that the parents care.
Exactly.
They see that the parent cares, they're going to put forth more effort to do better.
And you know what, Gwen? You know what? That is what my niece Chloe said as a second grade teacher. She said that it pushes her to work with the children more when she knows that there's parental concern and the parent backing. The parent is there to meet her halfway, and it kind of pushes her. Not saying that she's not pushed with all of them, but it's just like the saying, you know, the squeakiest wheel get the most oil. Absolutely. So it's a situation where if the parents started showing more concern, but also hold them accountable, that's really good, Gwen.
And
listen,
you know what else? One more thing.
Yes.
Some parents with today's economy, they have to work. They work Sundays. But it's okay if they can get their children to church Sunday school as well. And then while the parent is working, they come home from work and ask the children, what were you taught in Sunday school? What was the sermon about?
That's right. That's right.
Let them tell you. And that way they have the responsibility of listening and learning and coming back with whatever the service was. And they're getting some spiritual,
exactly.
Enrichment.
Wonderful.
At the same time.
Thank you so much, Gwen.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I love your show.
Thank you so much.
I love you too.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Now, Rhonda. Now, I thought that was perfect, but listen. Let me pause right here. Everyone know, and we're going to talk about that in our last segment, but the reunion show is coming up, and I want you to start calling now to the 202-526-1400. Caller number 4 is going to win 2 tickets to the Reunion Hair Show. The Reunion Hair Show, we're going to talk about it in the next section, but I want caller number 4. Start calling right now, 202-526-1400, extension 42. Number 4 is going to win those 2 pair of tickets March 24th, UDC, where we're going to have a battle of your life. Celebrities, red carpet, VIP, all that kind of stuff. And that's going to be held at the University District of Columbia, the Bennett Career Institute Reunion Hair Battle. Caller number 4. Call right now to win those 2 tickets. All right, Rhonda, I think that we're going to have to get ready to end this segment, but I think that it's important. One of the things that Gwen hit it on the head, it's about teaching our children responsibility. If we teach our children responsibility, because, one thing she said that I know as an educator, at the end of my theory lesson, the first thing that I would say to a student is that somebody tell me, what did you get out of it? What did you learn? Then, Rhonda, throughout the day, I may grab one of my students and ask them, tell me something that you learned this week in theory class. Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to get them in the method of retaining the information that they learn, opposed to going in one ear and out the other. But it is a community effort. What happened to the children coming over to do homework together? Do that happen anymore? Or do they come together so they can play the video games? What happened to going to the library? I haven't heard people say in a long time, meet me at the public library so we can be able to research and do our work together. I think it is important. We have to understand, in order to compete, we must have the knowledge. In order to get the knowledge, we have to take time to be disciplined. So we can be able, this is my last question for you, Rhonda. I'm just really concerned because I'm thinking that, I'm not a parent. I just have 2 dogs, Chauncey and Chelsea. But listen, I'm concerned because I'm thinking that if I had children, I would want to work 2 or 3 jobs to send them to the absolute best school. I would want to work with them to tell them there's no option. You're going to college. Unless you have some kind of creative edge, unless you want to be a barber or a hairstylist, unless you want to be something that the college, courses can't teach you. But once you do get that certificate, I still want you to go to college. I'm trying to figure out, so is that not going on, or I'm not sure? Talk to me. You're a mother. Talk to me.
I think, so am I hearing, are the parents continually pushing their children? Is that the question?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out if you have children, I would think that parents would do everything they can to get the children the best education. And I'm not understanding why is the dropout rate so high? I'm not understanding why the truancy level is at an all-time high. I'm not understanding why the children now are just completely off the hook. I'm assuming that there's no supervision.
Yeah. The level of supervision has decreased dramatically. And you also have to remember about the teenage rape pregnancy back in the 90s, I believe, was at an increase, it heightened. And now we're seeing that these children are growing up. And you also have to remember their background, their social skills, their life skills. If those particular parents have not been indoctrinated into how to do certain basic skills, life skills, they're not able to then teach that to their kids because they don't know how to do it. And you may know as well, when we were growing up, our parents, they rigged in the fact, get your education. They taught us that how we had to get education, and we knew how to look after one another to make sure that we were accountable. We were accountable for you, and our older siblings, they were accountable for us. So we had accountability in the home, and then our neighbors were accountable for us while our parents were working. We do not have that close-knit community. People are now buying homes. They're not worrying about your neighbors. They're not worrying about the kids. And, yes, we will work hourless jobs to make sure that our kids secure the best education possible. However, some parents are working because they have to. They have to be on the bus by 6 a.m. to work an 8-hour job, $8 an hour job, and they don't get home until maybe like 6 or 7 p.m., and the kids are basically watching themselves. So some kids have no choice in the matter, or parents have limited choice in the matter. But as someone said earlier, caller stated, as the black community, we have to get back in the notion of helping one another, not getting our degrees, our master degrees, and then we move out to the suburbs and we just forget about the other kids, even if they're in the suburbs or in the inner city. We must pull together, because when we don't, Mr. Bennett, this is what you're saying. This is a product of us getting our own and taking care of our own. Just me, myself, and mine, and we're not pouring into.
But you know what? We had to go. First of
all right.
Wait a minute. I got to say this about your suburbs. Let me just say this. Listen to me real quick. We got to go to break. But listen, one thing that Chloe said, I said I was going to take it today. What Chloe said was, she said the problem is everybody is grouped together. If you took not sending all the project kids to one location, all the rich folks going to one location, all the middle class folk go to one location. But what Chloe said is that what should happen is, if we bring them all together, she mentioned, I think, Howard County, where there may be a project here, a single family home here, a HUD home here, expenses home there, but they all go to the same place. So everybody brings something different. It will become an eclectic group of students, and they will learn from each other, and they may be off the hook, but they still go to college and still move forward, because they're now in a different kind of environment, and they're not in the situation where everybody is on the same level. All right, we got to go to break. Sister Rhonda, I thank you so much. I'm going to let you go now. You've been awesome helping me host the show today. Listen, everybody, when we come back, we're giving away more reunion hair show tickets. This is C. Allen. We'll be back after these messages. All right, everyone here. I tell you, we had a very insightful, a very educational hour. I would just say in closing, we're not going to take any more calls. I would just say in closing that I just think that it starts with us as individuals. I may not have children, but I can mentor somebody else's children. Somebody here listening to me know that you have a neighbor and she's struggling with all those kids, and there may be an absent father in the household. I want you to take an opportunity today to just reach out to that neighbor, to ask that neighbor, is there anything that you can do? Give 1 hour of your time from 3:30 to 4:30, not being a babysitter, but just trying to instill something, impart something in their lives. What I often think about, I think about Dr. Alfred Owens, the pastor of Greater Mount Calvary Holy Church, who's my bishop. And I think about at 12 years old, when he prophesied to me on the steps of Greater Mount Calvary, how he took me under his wings. And I'm telling you, and how he not only did he mentor me, but then he also assigned another brother in the church, an older brother, Gary Hart, to kind of be there, to kind of help me, teach me that I didn't have a father in the house, to teach me how to become a man, to teach me the things, so I can remember people like Mr. Delgado, which was my neighbor up the street, who taught me how to tie a tie. I was so active in the church, and I would run to him every time I had an event for him to tie a tie for me. And these are things that I can remember today. So I can remember Uncle Lewis, who would teach me and my brother Robert certain things. I can remember those people that was in our lives, and I believe in my heart that today we need to go back to having different people in our lives to be able to help us and watch over us. I thank God for George Basilico, an old Greek man, who I used to sit, he was my mentor, and I would sit there and he would teach me about real estate and teach me about business and teach me about responsibility. I can remember those kind of conversations. So what I'm telling you is, we are out here alone. We need other people. We need other mentors. We need people that's going to guide us, the counselors, the people. I can remember school teachers pulling me to the side, giving me words of wisdom that I will never forget. Mrs. Jones, when I was in the 7th grade, I can remember those things today. So what I'm telling you is, let's not let our children grow up in the penal system. Let's not let our children grow up not understanding the value of education. It wasn't until I went to Virginia Union, and when I went to Virginia Union, I was on probation because I had did so awful in high school. I was skipping school and all that kind of stuff at Woodrow Wilson, going to Mazda Gallery, sitting in McDonald's, doing nothing. It wasn't until I went to Virginia Union and I started realizing by being around different people the importance of education. The second year I was at Virginia Union, I was on the honor roll. I transferred to Morehouse College in Atlanta, where Martin Luther King, Benjamin E. Mays, all these great people went. So I know the importance. Every Thursday we had chapel. Every Thursday we learned things like the 3-foot rule. Never let someone come within 3 feet of you without you selling yourself and your business. Every Thursday we had speakers like Oprah Winfrey, Bill Cosby, those kind of people to come in to tell us that we're strong men, that we're going to become entrepreneurs, that we're going to take our career to the next level, that we're not going to settle for less, that we're going to work hard. Those were, and chapel every Thursday was mandatory. So think about 4 years. Think about one Thursday. Think about 26 weeks for 4 years of hearing someone. So it's, in turn, it's become self-fulfilling prophecy. We have to start telling our children now that they're smart. We have to get the Sunday's paper, get the week paper, and have them read the paper to us. My mother, and Rhonda, you hit it on the head. My mother, when we didn't have homework during the summer because we were out in summer school, she made us pull out the encyclopedia. I can remember them old encyclopedias. My God, I remember A, B, C, D. They all had an alphabet. Some of them was like ST. I can remember all of them. Because I remember the encyclopedia man knocking on the door selling encyclopedias. But guess what? She made all of us find the word in the encyclopedia, explain it to her what the word meant, all of that. So I thank God today for Joyce Bennett, the matriarch of the Bennett Corporation, the Bennett Career Institute, because if it wasn't for her, I would not be here today. I can remember, some of you don't know my story. My book is coming out at the end of the month, but some of you don't know my story. I used to stutter. You wouldn't think today, as much as C. Allen loved to talk and run his mouth, that I used to stutter. And it was my mother who took time and worked with me to overcome. And when I get super excited now, I stutter. But the important thing is there was a parent in the home to work with me. All right, everybody, listen, our reunion show is coming up. It is our big annual reunion show. We have celebrity hairstylist, celebrity on the Atlanta Housewives. Derek J is going to be hosting the fantasy competition. Tickets are only $25. It's $40 for VIP. We have about 20 VIP tickets left. We have celebrity judges that are coming out for that event. It is on March 24th at the University of District of Columbia. We're giving $3,000. Our sponsor is Soft Sheen Carson, Dark and Lovely. They have given us money to give to the student and the salon winners. $3,000 for first place, $1,500 for second, $750 for third. We're giving out over $5,000 in prizes. Listen, I need all of you, and this is a good opportunity to bring that child out there that may be wayward or may not know what's going on. And guess what? Something fun for them to do. See young people on the stage styling hair, barbers cutting hair, all kinds of stuff. And I tell you, they got dance routines. They got all kinds of stuff. You owe it to yourself to be at the Bennett Career Institute Reunion Hair Battle. March the 24th. It's on a Sunday. The red carpet is at 5 o'clock. Take them to go through the red carpet. Get your picture taken in front of the press wall. You know, be interviewed by the celebrity fashion red carpet host. And then go into the auditorium, have a seat at 6 o'clock, have a time for your life. We have a young girl, a high school 16-year-old that's going to knock your socks off, going to open up the show. And then we have a fabulous show planned for you. A lot of people feel like, well, I don't know nothing about hair. I don't care about hair. I'm going to a hair show. But it's more of a hair/variety show. We have singers, there's dancers. It's just a lot of entertainment. But then most importantly, we're giving out awards for Female Stylist of the Year, Male Stylist. This is the students' Oscars. This is the Grammys. And I need you there. 202-526-1400. Extension 42. I want you to call Rashawn at the red chair. Call him now so we can be able to get you over to that finance office to get your tickets. You can go online at CALANmorningshow.com. You can click on the flyer and the price will come up for you to buy your tickets online. So you can buy them online or you can call our finance office. Our finance office extension is 45. or just call 0 for the operator. But listen, 202-526-1400. Hit 0 and tell them that you would like to get tickets to our big reunion show. We want you to come out and support our students. Come out and support them as they try to battle for the competition. It's going to be so much fun. We're so excited that this is the first year that we have a sponsor. So when you go to our website, look at Dark and Lovely. They have just released the new Au Naturel. It's a line of products for people who have natural hair. We also have vendors there. We have one spot open for a vendor's table. So if anybody wanted to have a vendor spot where you want to sell your wares, we anticipate between 800 to 1,000 people to attend the event. But listen, Sea Island need his listeners. I want all my old folk that's listening to me who don't go nowhere but church. I want you to pay your $25, go to UDC, let your grandson drop you off right in the front of the theater. That's where the Potbelly side is. Come on in, enjoy yourself, and have your grandson take you on home. Bring a mentee with you. Bring somebody that may be interested in not just beauty school, but could be fashion design. It could be in entertainment. Anybody that's into entertainment, bring your children out. We even have Bennett Babies Child Development Center is doing a presentation. Lord have mercy. Wait until you see them little babies walk across the stage. I need you to get your tickets now. 202-526-1400. Hit 0 for the operator. And what will happen is you will be directed to the person. But I want to see, because I'm going to say all of my radio listeners who came here from the Sea Island Morning Show, we want you to stand up and all this stuff. And I want all my ladies in your canes and all that kind of good stuff to get up and let's enjoy each other. But listen, my time is almost up. I just want to take this opportunity to thank all of the parents that are out there who are doing a good job. Okay? Let's celebrate together at the reunion show. You may not be interested in hair, but it would just be a fun event. I want you to call us now or go online and buy your tickets. If you go to CAL or go to BennettCareerInstitute.org, that's even better. Go to BennettCareerInstitute.org. Click on the flyer and the amount will come up and your tickets will be in will call. If you don't want to do it online, you can always call us, 202-526-1400. Hit 0 for the operator. Let her know you want to purchase tickets. The celebrity stylist, the celebrity superstar Derek J is going to host a fantasy competition. We have about 15 folks that are doing fantasy. When I mean fantasy, I'm talking about you're going to see stuff almost touching the ceiling. I think it would be a good gesture to come out, support me, support the school. All right, everyone, and keep in mind that our clinic floor is open. Our half-price chemical days is on Wednesdays and Fridays. Our senior days is on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And we're also open. All haircuts are $5. My time is up, everybody. Send a special shout-out to Trendy Lindy. Her father's ill, so she's in Danville, Virginia. So she left me here by myself. But remember, pamper yourself because it's your duty. Why? Because you are worth it. Have a good week, everyone.